In the previous chapter, the deadly lightning arrow wiped out thousands, but Luo Yunhai and his men stood firm. Seeing their resolve, the bearded elder poured even more power into the attack, sending it straight at Luo Yunhai. Let's begin the chapter. Damn it, it was faster than he thought. Luo Yunhai squinted, eyes fixed on that arrow of pure lightning hurtling towards them. He gritted his teeth, a desperate roar tearing from his throat. Even if we die here, you are to hold them back. Every last man. And the Flying Tiger Army answered as one, their voices a thunderous wave of loyalty. Yes, sir. The 6 ethereal stage experts, watching from above, felt a tremor in their hearts. This devotion, this unwavering commitment in the face of death, it touched them, shook them to their core. They were stunned. Could such dedication truly exist? To throw away their lives without a second thought, all for a mission? Unbelievable. Thank heavens they're just radiant stage and profound heaven stage. They can't actually harm us. But still, a seed of unease began to sprout in their minds. What if these people were allowed to grow? The thought of such loyalty, combined with power, sent a shiver of apprehension through them. A calamity. That's what it would be. Where did they come from, these soldiers? The demon-scheming sect? No, absolutely not. The demon-scheming sect knew nothing of loyalty like this. The 5 ethereal stage experts exchanged puzzled, worried glances. Fear, sharp and cold, began to grip them. But the bearded elder, he felt something else, something stronger, determination. They all must die. Now. The lightning arrow screamed through the air, spitting sparks, a promise of annihilation aimed directly at the heart of the Flying Tiger Army. Luo Yunhai's jaw clenched tight, a knot of worry twisting in his gut. His own death? He didn't care. His only concern, his only hope, was that they had bought enough time. Time for Kui Gong's team to finish their raid. Luo Clan head. A voice, soft like the chime of bells, cut through the tension. A girl in white, she seemed to float as she landed before them, right in front of the army. It was Yuer, Zhuo Fan's disciple. She parted her lips, so red against her pale skin, and a bead of pure azure flame materialized between them. She spat it out gently into the air. Luo Yunhai's eyes widened. Zhuo Fan's disciple? Here? Flying Tiger Army! He roared, his voice urgent, commanding. Focus all your divine sense on this lady, now! And without a flicker of hesitation, without a single question, they obeyed. The immense wall of divine sense, their combined mental strength, shifted, flowed, and then slammed into Yuer. It was a torrent, a flood of power, all channeled into her small frame. Yuer gasped, her body shaking violently. It was too much, far too much. She coughed, a spray of blood painting her lips crimson. She'd never imagined the Luo clansmen would be so immediate, so absolute. They gave her everything. Everything. Without a second thought. Strangers, practically. In the demon-scheming sect, trust was a weakness, betrayal a way of life. Even allies were viewed with suspicion. Yet here, now, facing death itself, this army of strangers offered her their very essence, without a single doubt. A smile, small and fragile, touched Yuer's lips. Her heart softened, a warmth spreading through her that she hadn't felt in years. Grown up in the cold, calculating world of the demon-scheming sect, she had known only self-preservation and manipulation. Her sister, that was the only person she truly trusted. And now, this unconditional trust from strangers. It moved her deeply. Almost, she forgot her mission, forgot the cold calculations. But only almost. Duty tugged at her, pulling her back. Focus, she told herself. Focus on the flame. She poured all that surging power, that overwhelming divine sense, into the azure flame bead. It blazed to life, erupting in a blinding light. The azure flames roared, swelling, coalescing, forming a towering wall of fire, a shimmering shield of pure energy, safeguarding them all. Just in time to meet the lightning. The impact was cataclysmic. The air ripped apart. A violent firestorm erupted, waves of heat and energy washing over them. The lightning arrow, its raw power undiminished, slammed into the firewall and then, impossibly, pierced through. It struck Yuer directly. She cried out, a sharp, pain-filled sound, and more blood flew from her mouth as she was thrown backwards, flung through the air like a rag doll. But something had changed. The lightning arrow, after passing through the azure fire, was different. It shuddered, flickered, and then impossibly, it began to darken, turning from brilliant white to a bruised, ominous black. Above, the bearded elder staggered, a hand flying to his head. Agony, searing, blinding, ripped through his mind, threatening to split his skull open. The lightning arrow, his soul attack, was faltering. Slowly, agonizingly, it was being drawn back to him, damaged, corrupted. The azure flame bead, its energy spent, fell to the ground, the roaring fire shrinking, fading, until only a tiny, fragile mote of blue remained, flickering weakly, threatening to be extinguished entirely. 100,000 divine senses, channeled through that small flame, had somehow, impossibly, stopped an ethereal stage expert's soul attack. But the cost, the sheer disparity in strength, radiant stage against ethereal stage, was brutally clear. Luo Yunhai was at Yuer's side in an instant, kneeling beside her, his face etched with worry. She was pale as death. "Miss, how are you? Why did you come? I thought I told you to go with the demon scheming sect disciples, to take their treasury." Yuer drew a ragged breath, her eyes half-lidded, focusing on him with effort. Why did you give me all your divine sense? Without hesitation? If I hadn't blocked it, you'd all be dead." What's the point in saying that now?" Luo Yunhai said, a touch of bewilderment in his voice. "You're Brother Zhuo's disciple. You're one of us. You came. You stepped in front of that attack. Whether it worked or not, we had to show our trust, give you all our strength." He glanced at the smoldering bead. "And reality proved you did block it." Yuer stared at him, a long, searching gaze. Then a faint chuckle escaped her lips. "I planned on blocking twice," she said, her voice weak but tinged with amusement. "But you just had to give me all of your divine sense. Too much. It overflowed, injured me, wasted some of it. Now I only blocked it once. What?" Luo Yunhai's face contorted in a comical expression of disbelief. "You mean it's my fault? You should have said how much divine sense you needed." Yuer shook her head slowly. "It's the first time we met, in the middle of a life-and-death battle. How was I supposed to know you'd give your life just like that into some stranger's hands? I said all your divine sense, expecting maybe a third at most, half, and I might have gotten a tenth. But who knew you'd be so trusting?" Luo Yunhai stared at her, a long, considering look. He saw it then, beneath the exhaustion, beneath the pain, a flicker of something, like glee. He understood. He sighed. "I see. You don't trust anyone. But rest assured we, the Luo clan, we completely trust our allies." Luo Yunhai stood, turning back to face the 5 ethereal stage experts, the Flying Tiger army solid behind him. "Miss," he said, his voice resolute, "thank you for your help. but you're hurt now. You can't take another strike. You should leave. Please, we will stop them. Down to the last man." Yuer struggled to her feet, swaying slightly, but she walked to his side, standing shoulder to shoulder with him. The azure flame bead, now just a faint glow, nestled in her palm. "Master gave us a mission," she said, her voice quiet but firm. "No matter what happens, you must live. I will protect you until my last breath." She flicked her wrist, and the azure flame bead, responding to her will, began to glow brighter, pulsing with renewed energy. Yuer stepped forward, placing herself directly in front of Luo Yunhai. The bead in her hand ignited once more, the azure flame flickering back to life. Ignoring the tremor in her frail body, ignoring the trickle of blood still flowing from her lips, Yuer shouted, her voice ringing with desperate resolve. "Give me all of your divine sense! Again! I can take another one!" Luo Yunhai's eyes widened, a complex mix of emotions swirling within him. He reached out a hand towards her. "Give me the bead, Yuer. You can barely stand." "No," she said, her voice firm, unyielding. "It's my mission." She turned her head away, her gaze fixed on the approaching enemies. Luo Yunhai sighed, a long, drawn-out breath. Then his expression hardened, becoming serious, determined. "I'll be ashamed to face Brother Zhuo after this," he said, his voice low. "But I have to tell you. For Brother Zhuo, the end justifies the means. He only cares about his goals. To him, my life is so much more precious than anyone else here. Even more than his own disciple. All others are worthy sacrifices. That's why you don't have to." "Then why did you tell me?" Yuer interrupted, turning back to him, an eyebrow raised in question. "It's your honor, isn't it? For Master to sacrifice everyone. For your life." Luo Yunhai shook his head, a weary smile touching his lips. "Brother Zhuo, he's just protecting me in his own way. But I don't want to do this. I don't want to live if others die for me, I know. I know Brother Zhuo raised the Luo clan himself, built it from nothing. But he didn't force me to walk his path. That is why, as the Luo clan head, I hope to bear the lives of all my clansmen, not have them shielding me. I want true righteousness, true loyalty, the path of kingship. So, you don't have to admire." "Then don't say it," Yuer said, a sudden bright smile illuminating her face. Her eyes flashed with an unexpected intensity. "You want to protect everyone, but you can't stop others from protecting you. It no longer has anything to do with the mission." Luo Yunhai's breath caught in his throat. He looked at Yuer, really looked at her. "I'll use the bead Master gave me to block again," she said, her smile unwavering. "No matter how it ends, with your life or death, I will do all I can." She tilted her head, her smile softening, becoming almost gentle. "And this is my will, as thanks for your trust." A rare, truly bright smile bloomed on Yuer's face. Luo Yunhai cupped his hands together, a silent gesture of respect, of gratitude, of something deeper. Above, the bearded elder, finally shaking off the lingering pain from the azure flame, spat, his voice venomous, "Curse you! Mere ants dared to harm my soul! I'll tear you all to mincemeat!" "Hey, Elder Shu," a mocking voice called out. "You can't even handle a few radiant stage cultivators? Still acting tough?" A figure stepped forward, a sneer twisting his lips. "Why not let me handle these brats for you? Lest you get hurt again, make yourself look even worse. Ha ha ha." He flicked his wrist, and a long, razor-sharp sword materialized in the air, humming with power. Its aura was oppressive, crushing, far stronger, far more menacing than the lightning arrow had been. Even before it moved, Even before it struck, the soldiers of the Flying Tiger Army cried out, clutching their heads, pain lancing through their minds. Luo Yunhai and Yuer stared, their faces draining of color, their hearts sinking with a cold dread. Yuer's hand tightened around the Azure flame bead. Not even the Azure flame bead can stop such power.